Hello and welcome back, guys. This is Jacob.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Ken Pelletier.
Ken's with us today. He's one of our dealers here, and not just a dealer, but Ken, how many booths do you have?
Four.
Four booths. A big time seller here at the heart of Ohio, and he's a lifer. We talked about this before. I said, I'm a lifer in this business. Ken's a lifer. So Ken, before we talk about what you got in your booths, I always like to get into, how did you get started in this business? Tell us the backstory.
The backstory is real simple. I did my first clean out of a carrot shed in Manchester, Vermont in 1954.
So, because in 1954 in Vermont, is that where you grew up?
No, my aunt and uncle lived there. My mom was born and brought up in that town in Manchester.
Okay.
And we used to go up in the summers to my aunt and uncle's.
Do you remember what you bought? Or what you got?
All kinds of things. It was a big carrot shed. It was, the backstory on it was the lady was a retired teacher.
Okay.
And she wanted her carrot shed cleaned out.
Okay.
And she didn't get along with my uncle.
Oh, she didn't get along.
No.
Okay, how'd you get the job? Well, okay, explain more.
Well,
this is interesting now.
Yeah, well, she gave it to me and she said I could have everything I took out of the carrot shed.
Okay.
As long as I didn't give anything to my uncle.
Did you give
Working deals?
Did you give anything to your uncle?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I kind of lived up to that part of it.
Well, that's perfect.
But
That's
it
what
took
you're
me
supposed
like 3 weeks, and I had an older cousin
Okay.
who helped me at times, and we took it to a little auction house up in Danby, Vermont, and sold it off as we got it cleaned out, and we got it all done for her, and she was happy, and I made money.
So this was in Vermont, and where did you live at the time?
I lived in Schenectady, New York.
So you lived in New York. This is in Vermont, and where do you live at today?
I live in Illinois.
In Illinois. So this guy is like from everywhere. He's buying East Coast stuff. Now, how often do you come through the antique center?
Here?
Yeah, dropping off, filling up your booths. Like, how often does that happen?
Probably 7 times a year.
Okay, so you come through, and every time you come, you've got a full load on, and you restock all your booths. So 7 times a year, every 6 weeks or so, you're in here dropping off. Yeah, and sometimes we'll get a call. Hey, we got this, bronze fountain. You got room for it, or whatever. There's always something. Yep. Okay.
Well, and we don't do it as much as we used to back in the day here, because we used to pull a 16-foot trailer too.
Okay. How long have you been at the antique center set up?
I first came here in the late 90s.
Okay.
And I was a showcase dealer. And then what I was doing professionally didn't work out, so somewhere 2010 maybe, I dropped out.
Okay.
And then as soon as I retired, a couple years later, I told my buddy that I run with, I said, we got to get back in Hart.
Okay, so let's back all this up a little bit. You told me a couple interesting things here. You retired from what? Do you mind sharing?
Oh, I'm a psychologist.
A psychologist. We had a poet last week. We got a psychologist. We have the greatest
He's looking at me and shaking his head.
Now you know. He said there's no help for these two knuckleheads. When you're done, just don't tell our viewers what you really think.
Okay. I won't.
Okay, how many years were you a psychologist?
I guess off and on 30.
30 years, okay. And you went to college, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you got a degree in psychology?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the antiques you started buying and selling, at what age were you when you did that first clean out?
I was 6 years old.
You were 6 on that very first clean out?
6 years old.
Wow. So when I say lifers, this is what I'm talking about. 6 years old, you go to college,
right?
You get a degree. You're still doing all this at the same time?
Oh yeah, I bought all the way through college. And
okay. Tell us something about some of that stuff. Like when you were in high school, because we have some young people that are starting to get interested in this business. Our youngest dealer right now is a high school student.
Oh, okay.
So explain some of that challenge that you had and just work through, or whatever, some of the success as a young person getting into this business. Let's talk about that for a minute, because you are now in it for life. You're a lifer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You've done this, so maybe there's something you could share.
Well,
in
terms of starting off, it's just listening a lot, talking little, listen a lot.
Okay.
Listen to the old guys in terms of what they see, and you go to the auction and you walk around and you watch how they evaluate things, and I used to just ask a ton of questions.
Yeah.
And if somebody was telling me something about an item, it was kind of the unsaid word. Yeah, I'd pay attention, but then I wouldn't bid against them.
Yeah. Okay. So you were listening.
I was trying to gain.
You were finding mentors basically everywhere.
Right.
You could find someone to teach you something.
Right.
I agree 1,000% with that. I had that same approach at a very young age. When I was 10, 11, 12, I was listening to everybody all the time. Always asking questions. Well, how do I tell what cut glass is compared to press? Just the simplest things now.
Yeah.
But it's elementary for you now. But at the time, it was all brand new.
Oh, sure. Everything was brand new.
Okay. Well, so anything interesting in those high school, college years that you bought and sold that would be an interesting story?
Probably the thing that my most fun story is I got into a house in Manchester, Vermont, and it was a house that was built in the late 1700s. Mm-hmm. And she was cleaning it out because they were going to sell it, and she wants to go downstairs and take all the stuff out of the basement. Well, it had a really dry basement, and we walked down there, and there are probably 15, 18 old tavern tables.
Oh, wow.
Old dry finish.
Okay.
We did a little research. Back in the day, like in the 1820s, the building was a tavern.
Wow, so you found a period
tavern
tables. How old were you again?
I was probably 15, 16.
15 or 16. You're buying period tavern tables in a basement.
Right.
Okay, keep going. This is a great story. All right, I love this.
And then my uncle used to do Brimfield.
Yep.
And so I gave them to him to take to Brimfield.
Okay.
And he drove a big old International 8-speed truck. And he'd go down and he'd just have tags on everything. And this was back when Brimfield was hopping.
It was crazy.
Yeah. He would sell out a truckload of furniture by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
He'd want to pull in at 4.
So as soon as he unloads it, it's selling as fast as he's unloading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay, so the tavern tables, you got them, and then he took them there.
And he sold them for me.
Okay.
And, it
was a good day, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was
especially for a 16, you said 16, right?
Somewhere 15.
15, 16.
Yeah.
I did similar things at that age, and it's mind-boggling what a young person could do in this business because they're not afraid to work, not afraid to use their back, and there's no preset notion of this is what I have to buy and sell. And so they look at things very differently. Even our young dealers here today, they're buying and selling, 8 tracks and cassette tapes and CDs and stuff that I would never.
Concert T-shirts. It's one of the things that it really blew me away. And they're concert T-shirts, and I remember the concerts.
We're getting old, Josh. Okay, so that's really cool. So you go to college. While you were in your professional career, you just kept dabbling on the side.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Things came along. Got married, had kids.
How many kids?
Didn't have the time. 3.
3 kids. Okay.
Yeah. So I did it low key, and then as the kids got older and there weren't as many needs, I started doing it a little more. Sold in my own area in Illinois, and then.
So you just were selling and stuff. When did you actually start getting into the malls compared to the shows? Tell us some of that.
I didn't do shows.
You didn't do shows at all.
No.
How were you selling? Just auctions or?
Yeah, or picking for dealers.
Okay, so you were wholesaling to other dealers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, word of mouth sometimes.
Okay.
But no, I did Brimfield back in the day with my uncle, and he totally burnt me out.
Too much?
That was back when he would take 4 loads of furniture 4 mornings in a row. So we'd have to take the truck back up to Manchester, load it back up, get up at midnight, drive back down to Brimfield.
So that's an important thing you just said. You got to be careful of burnout in this business.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do for relaxation? Like something so you get your mind off all this stuff. Like how do you approach that so you don't get burned out now?
Easy. I got 4 great grandkids.
Hey, I'm gonna be a grandpa in February.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, 4 great grandkids.
4 great grandkids.
Oh, that's gotta keep you busy.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got 8 grandchildren, and You know, one of them's a doctor, one's an engineer, one's in medical school. They all keep us hopping.
Yeah.
So it's basically family. They all live right around us.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
you got your family to keep you. You know, you're spending a lot of time with them. You're not just doing this 24/7. So you've got lots of other stuff.
No.
Okay.
And I, as you well know, I do it kind of differently because I buy most of my inventory in New England.
Yes.
And then bring it back. And
so talk about the New England states that you're up there buying in, like, because a lot of your stuff will have tags on it, bought in whatever Maine or some. You know, it's always interesting how you put some of your
I try
interesting
to
items.
let people know where I found it.
Yes. So what all states are you buying in up there?
Majority of my stuff is Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine.
Some from Mass. Very little from Connecticut.
Okay.
It's more the northern tier.
Okay. And that's that every 7 or 8 or so weeks you're going up there and picking up?
I try to go up 5 or 6 times a year.
Okay. So 5-6 times a year he's headed up east, and then on the way back through, usually you stop twice, like on the way from Illinois to
going. Yeah, I drop off a smaller load.
Yes.
Particularly like this time I was gone for a month.
Right.
So I try to drop off and refresh because it was right before extravaganza.
Right.
And then now I got back this morning, and I'll be here for 3 or 4 days trying to get everything unloaded and out and merchandise.
Yep. Perfect. And then so tell us about the kinds of stuff that you like to sell here. Like what is
We're always excited when your van pulls in because we know there's going to be great stuff coming off of it.
Well, thank you. I do a lot of primitives, a lot of early cast iron. I do lighting. I do painted pantry boxes, firkins, trenchers, bowls, signage. I've got some nice signs on this load. Like the last load, I had that Cambridge steel plow sign that I sold here. Didn't last very long. Nice furniture, period. 1850s, in that area. Mule chest or blanket boxes, corner cupboards, anything I can find in pretty righteous paint.
Yeah. What I like, like the corner cupboard that we had put in the highlights for you a couple of trips back. It didn't last long, but your stuff is reasonably priced. I feel like your stuff compared to some dealers we have, not everyone, but a lot of our dealers are they try and keep their prices reasonable where there's money to be made. And I know also you're open to looking at an offer. If you've got something priced at $2,500 and somebody makes an offer, you'll consider about anything thrown up there. And I'm not saying you'll sell it, but you want the offer. Yeah, make me an offer. This guy's a seller. Something I talk about on our other channel a lot is the art of selling in this business. Almost there's 2 approaches in the retail part of this that I see. One is you're trying to get top price, and that's not my approach. There's probably more than 2, but my approach is keep room left in it for the next guy. You don't be afraid to sell it to somebody else and let them make a little bit of money. And I kind of sense that from you, that you're kind of like that too.
Oh yeah, I would call myself a rather conservative buyer. So, I try, if I get something, I try to make sure I'm at the low end of wholesale so that there's some margin for me and I can pay my expenses.
Sure.
But on the other side of it, I'm passing along a pretty good deal to customers.
Yeah.
And whether they be retail customers, somebody that's taking it home, or another dealer that's going to take it to his location or her location and try to move it along from there.
And that's an interesting thing that happens here at the Heart. We have a lot of shops from around the country, like single owner shops, that come here to buy inventory. And so our antique center hosts a lot of wholesale to individuals that are going to shows, setting up for resale, going to shops, setting up for resale. We see a lot of eBay people buying from here, and then like Whatnot starting to get hot. Like they're buying from the antique center, and then they're going and selling it and making money. So when you think of like retail, we have some retail stuff here that's kind of really rare and priced where it should be, but there's also a lot of reasonably priced wholesale range items that money can be made on.
Oh yeah, a mall that I'm in Illinois, there's 2 dealers there that shop over here a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And they make it a destination. They come over for the weekend and they try to get a nice load to bring back.
Yeah. Well, we had last month a gentleman, I think he was from Pennsylvania. He came in and bought 5 or 6 chests. You know, that's what he likes to sell. And he says every time he comes here, he can pick up 5 to 7, and that's what he does. He just comes in every few months and picks up a load. That's interesting. Okay, so what about you personally? What do you like to collect? Do you collect anything?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You just don't like nothing?
No, I used to have collections, but they help pay for kids' college.
Nice. Well, that's a great investment. See, you're able to pay the college by buying and selling this stuff.
Yeah, I had a big collection of White's Utica stoneware.
Okay.
So,
well, tell us a little bit about that collection that you used to collect and what it was. Just share it. Share a little bit.
It was White's Utica. A lot of it was the molded ware.
Now, okay, a lot of people are going to say, what is that? Explain what White Utica is.
Okay, it's a company in Utica, New York called White's.
Okay.
And they made stoneware in the period from, about 1865 through 1920.
Okay, so what kind of stoneware, what's the color of it when you see it? What kind of color does it?
Well, they have 2 distinct types. They have the traditional salt glaze with cobalt decoration.
Okay.
And then they have what we call molded ware, which is a Flemish and blue. Kind of like that piece down here on the floor.
Oh, let me grab it.
That's a White Utica cooler.
Here you go. Explain to our viewers White Utica more. Here, I like it.
This one's an ice water, it's number 2, and it's molded ware, so all the decoration is molded
on it, right?
And then they paint it and fire it, and this is like 1900.
Okay, so right at turn of the century, 1890, 1910 range.
And they made all kinds of really interesting things. They made some really rare stuff.
So what was your favorite piece when you collected of this? What did you have?
That I had?
A rare one or something that was special?
The one that I had that I liked the most was, it was a water cooler. It was a 5-gallon, and it had 20 mugs with it. And it was made limited edition for Saratoga Racetrack for the board of directors.
Oh, that's got to be really, really rare.
It was really rare, yeah.
Wow.
And I actually found that in Indiana.
In Indiana?
Yep.
Wow, you don't ever know where you're going to find it at.
Oh, heck no. You can walk in. Yeah. A buddy of mine just showed me a photo of a piece that I had never seen, and he has consigned it to Crocker Farms for their next sale.
Okay.
And he's from Hampton Falls, New Hampshire.
So somebody out there, this piece here, what kind of value is this piece first?
Retail in today's market, $2.25, $2.50.
Okay. And is that what you're putting on it here in that range? What we got put on this piece? Is there a price in there?
Yeah, $195.
$195, and they're going to get a discount, 10%. So,
oh yeah.
So really, that's $180.
Yeah.
So okay, and then like a really rare piece of stoneware. Let's say that you said they did some free drawn or freehand stuff.
Oh yeah, they did. Their earlier stuff was the traditional salt glaze with cobalt decoration. Yeah, they did birds.
So what kind of price ranges do you see those things? Like a bird or a squirrel by Utica? Where are we looking at?
If you had depends on the bird. If it's like what they call a fantail, it could be $800 to $1,000.
Okay.
Some of their rarer jugs, probably in the range of 15 to 2.
Okay. What do you think like the most elite piece would be? The top piece ever. You could, like, this thing had the greatest decoration on it. What's the ceiling of something of a stoneware like that?
Probably 20,000.
20,000. So what I'm saying this and asking you these questions is there's people out there that are listening and seeing this for the first time. They have no idea what stoneware is or what White Utica is. But now, if you're seeing stuff like this out there, you're seeing it in a barn, a house, or something, like, pay attention. These things can be from $100 range up to high, 20,000 for a really rare one. And it's something that we're trying to do with our viewers is just help educate people like what to look for in houses and how to buy it. And if you do find something rare like that, hey, there's a lot of people that'll buy it and pay good money. So, a piece like this that retails for $200 range, you're going to sell this thing for $100, $125 to somebody really fast. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Anything else you want to add about your booth or your viewers or?
No, I think, people need to visit Heart of Ohio because it is a destination.
It is a destination.
And we used to say a while ago that if you can't find it here, you don't need it.
I like that.
I love it. So you've been here pretty much since
the beginning.
Since the beginning. Is there any other story you can think of, something fun that's happened here that our viewers might find interesting?
I think it's just it always amazes me what comes through here. And I've been in the trade my whole life, and there's times in the common areas or in somebody's booth, I'll see something, I'll look at it, I'll say, holy Christ, I've never seen that. But, and we've had some really funky things here.
What's the most interesting thing you personally sold through here?
A wedding bed.
A wedding bed. Okay.
A wedding
tell
bed.
Tell us what a wedding bed is.
It's a Norwegian wedding bed, and they were used ceremonially in a community. And what they would do is after the nuptial, and they'd have a dinner, and then the couple would go to their wedding bed and consummate their wedding.
There you go. Very, very European tradition.
Yeah, right. And everybody in the community used the same bed.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard of wedding beds and I've seen them. I did not realize that it was for a community and that everyone would use the same bed.
I
never knew that. That's interesting.
That was one.
Would they hang bells on it too?
Actually, this one had a built-in bell at the top.
I thought there might have been. Okay.
And on the front, there was, it was carved, as the old guy would say, it couldn't have been carved any more unless it was bigger.
Wow.
Because it had guys in the fields, and they were, on one side, they were sowing wheat, and on the other side, they were harvesting it.
Okay.
And there was a young lady on the foot of the bed who was obviously expecting, and the interesting thing is in the back of the bed of the headboard, it folded down and it had a built-in bar.
In the bed.
Yeah.
Now, did you fill the bar when you sold it?
No.
Okay.
But this piece, I found it in New Hampshire, in Ossipee, New Hampshire.
Wow.
And it was probably the piece I've had the most unusual comments about.
I would imagine.
And some guy from, I forgot where they said he was from, but he saw it and he went home and he called back. He says, I got to have that piece.
That's another interesting thing about our people here. We have people from all over the world that shop the Heart. And, and that happens a lot. Someone will come in, they'll think about it, and then they call back and say, hey, I want that piece. Here's my credit card. I'll be there in a week to pick it up or whatever. And yeah, that's a great. That was
really fun. That was a piece in the last 10 years that I've had the most fun with, because I saw it and I thought, holy crap. Matter of fact, I got on the phone, I called the manager at the time, and I said, hey, have we got a place where we can set up a bed? And she said, a bed they don't sell. And I said, wait a second, let me send you some photos. And I sent some photos and got back on the phone with me and said, I'll find a place for it.
Find a place for this.
Because it was so unique. And it was just one of those pieces that you saw it and you think, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just totally. And, some of those really interesting pieces that aren't possibly American.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot with European antiques. They just had different traditions and different things. Yep. And
we've got a wedding cabinet in our house we bought in, I think we were in Holland. We were in Holland. We bought it in Holland. Same thing. It was a gift at a wedding, and they put their names on there and dates of the wedding happened. And yeah, it's really interesting how the traditions change when you're in Europe and different places around the world. And you bring in some of that culture here to the Antique Center, and someone got a really cool deal out of it. And you got a great story, made a little money. The Antique Center had fun with it.
We had it all set up in the Commons and put a board in it because we didn't have a mattress for it. and put a quilt on it. And really, like I said, it was probably one of those pieces that had more comments because it was so unique. And, you know, even guys like me who have been in trade, that was the first one I'd ever seen.
First one, yeah.
And so other dealers would come in and say, where the heck did you find that?
Yeah, and that's another amazing aspect about this place is you get to learn by watching what sells and what people bring in. Like this is a place where you can just gain knowledge about what's happening in our industry. I was talking last week about the cast iron movement. Man, there's so much cast iron selling right now. It's unbelievable. But well, Ken, listen, we have to wrap this up. But I want to say, if you guys are out there, you're coming to visit, come to Ken's booth. We are in the Building 1 booth. What is this one here? 1101. So this is the first booth. You turn right in Building 1, the very first booth. And then he's got 4 booths in the mall total. You're going to find his stuff. You'll recognize it.
6117.
6117 is another one. He's got a lot of stuff in. So, Ken, we appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Man, that was great stories. We really, really appreciate it. Josh, any last words to our viewers here?
He has great stuff. He brings in great stuff, and it's 7 to 8 weeks. I always like when he shows up because I'll be somewhere and he'll be popping in looking like, there's Ken.
Ken's here. Ken's here. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe underneath. At Burner Brother Antiques also. And then here at this channel is at Heart of Ohio Antiques. We have 2 channels, very different. This channel has lots of insight to the heart of Ohio. The at Burner Brother Antiques is behind the scenes with Josh and I and how we buy and sell, the auction business, the antique center running it, and training Lucas in the trade. So that's what the other channel is all about. But thank you guys. Blessings.